Hello, everybody. Excuse me. Hello, everybody. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this Saturday evening? Well, I guess it's time to make a live stream. The U.S. has bombed Iran. So, anyway, yeah, it's definitely time to do a live stream on this. Things could get a little crazy, or we could have peace. We'll see how it all goes. But, it's hot out here this weekend, but it's even hotter over there, isn't it? I tell you what, it was so hot yesterday when I was driving back home from up north, the northern part of Nebraska, that, you get out in these pastures that has a water hole or whatever, you'll see cows that are hanging out in that water hole, right? It's about, 2 or 3 feet deep. But yesterday, I actually saw 3 deer sitting out in the middle of the water hole. I tell you what, I've never seen that before. And it was hot. So anyway, but it's been so cold this whole spring. We're finally getting some heat. It's what we need. We got our moisture, not our heat. But when you've been spoiled by a cooler spring, then you actually get normal temperatures, maybe a little bit above normal would be over. But anyway, and then they're talking Monday through Wednesday, it's supposed to be in the low 70s. So you go from 100 and some to the low 70s with a transitional day in the middle. Crazy time, but I tell you what, it's going to be a lot better fencing when it's not 100 and some degrees out than when it's in the 70s. It's going to be great. They'll put in those nice long days. It'd be awesome. But I was sweating my ass off yesterday doing the fencing. So anyway, but yep, the world's getting crazy. I got to talk a little bit, wait for people to show up in the chat. This is extremely important subject. So anyway, I appreciate everybody being here this evening. But yeah, let's get into the subject. Okay, the U.S. has bombed Iran. Three nuclear sites. Okay, Trump came out with a statement saying that they had bombed 3 nuclear sites, that their primary one and 2 others. So I don't know if they had to go to secondary sites for some reason or whatever. But all the planes got out of there, out of the airspace, and praised our military, our country, how great it is, and then in caps said, "Now is the time for peace." I think that's how it would. Now is the time for peace, and then put lowercase. "Thank you for your attention in this matter." So this was Trump telling these people, bombing Iran to get peace. He wants peace, obviously, but you really can't usually bomb a country into peace. Unless you do it like we did in the first Persian Gulf War, where you just bombed the shit out of them until you got 10,000 Iraqis surrendering to one Humvee and stuff, that crazy type of stuff. But I just don't know if this is going to work. This is one question I got about this whole war, okay? Now, it's supposedly been so easy. Iran hasn't even stood a chance against Israel. The only reason the U.S. had to go in there because we had the ordinance to take out their nuclear sites that were buried real deep, okay? Whatever. They were using bunker penetrating bombs. But if this was going to be so easy, how come this wasn't done a long time ago? Hey, how's it going, Junior 420? Junior 420, I like it. How come this wasn't done a long time ago? I mean, say hi. How's everybody doing? My birthday's in 9 days. Congratulations. I hope you enjoy everyone to come. I hope there's a lot more to come. But if this was such a pushover, why wasn't this done a long time ago? Before Iran even got this close to having the bomb. What was the holdup? It's like the timing or something. I don't quite understand it. It seems too easy to me. Anyway, just everybody in you got your conspiracy mind going and stuff. That's just what it seems to me. You are the chosen one. You know what you must do. The prophecies come to pass. The 72 virgins await you. Okay, let me tell you something. If you think your idea of heaven is 72 virgins, I don't want to tell you. Because after you sleep with them once, they're no longer virgins. And any guy who wants 72 wives and thinks that's heaven, nothing against, but one's hard enough to handle. Okay? That would be my idea. 72 versions. Brentley Larson, hello, how's everybody doing? USA is a big, great country, but yeah, I just don't know why we can't get along. I mean, every weekend, every day it's something different. Bombing here, bombing there. I mean, what do you think's going to, before we have bombs fall in the United States? See, that time is coming. The U.S. is not going to be exempt from all the bad stuff that's going on in the world. Okay, we're going to get hit with it too. They'll be really upset when they go to heaven and find out George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin, because it's really 72 virgins, not Virginians, not virgins. I like that. But come on now. Anybody in their right mind, even a woman, would not think heaven was having 72 husbands. Okay? And no man in his right mind thinks heaven is having 72 women around that he's trying to keep happy. Okay? I'm just saying. But, everybody has a right to their beliefs. I believe when I go to heaven that I'm going to be released from my human pleasures anyway. Trust in God no matter what. This is all God's plan. This is all God's plan. We are going to be punished, okay? And I guess if God's plan is being fulfilled, then Donald Trump has this role. And all this stuff going on. It's just they're fulfilling their role in destiny. But it's just crazy watching history being made. History being made. Anyway, hey, if you guys like the content, I'll never ask for money or donations on this channel. This channel will never sell anything. This channel is about getting the truth out there, my opinion out there. But the best way you can support it is to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. That'll help this channel grow, and then we can let the advertisers pay for it when I get monetized. But anyway, back to the subject. So Trump did this to get the Iranians to come to the peace table. So we're going to find out, see, today's Saturday, for sure by Monday, if Iran hasn't sat there. And they want them to throw up the white flag. They want Iran to do an unconditional surrender. We ain't got a single troop on the ground. Okay, this is the one thing. You don't win a war. The war's not over until the boots are on the ground. Whether you give up and you just let the boots come in as an occupying force, the war's not over. And I don't see anytime soon NATO troops walking through Iranian streets, especially Tehran. Maybe other people can see it. Maybe Trump can see it if I do some strategic bombings here, show them what we can do. I just don't see. Nobody's ever come to the peace table really because you bombed the shit out of them. Yeah, they became weaker until you could take them over, but you still had to have the troops on the ground. Middle East ain't secure, but aren't scared, but they need be. I don't think. Why can't we all just get along? Why should another man have to fear another man for anything? But then again, like I say, I was over in the Middle East during the time when things weren't as crazy as they are. It was crazy then, but pretty much cakewalk. Okay, black powder, free daddy. You think anyone in the sandbox is going to keep their land from any of the three superpowers? Well, hopefully we're not doing this to take over their oil field and stuff. Hopefully we're not doing this to expand NATO will expand. They take over Iran. This stuff has got to stop. We don't have our own problems in our own country fixed. We got illegals all over the place. How are we supposed to clean somebody else's kitchen when our kitchen's dirty as hell? Okay, and then what money are we going to, after all this bombing, because the first thing we do after we bomb it, After we bomb the shit out of a country, what's the first thing we do? We spend a bunch of money fixing it back up, don't we? Tell me we can afford that on the money we got. We stop hating. Yeah. Can we love your neighbor? Not love your neighbor. Get along with your neighbor. Smile and say, hi, how's it going? You don't have to like what your neighbor's doing. But if we can't get along with our neighbor, our politicians aren't going to get along with their neighboring countries. Anyway, this kind of surprises me. I thought Trump, after he gave the 2 weeks, he would have gave him at least a week to come to the negotiating tables. I mean, I thought Israel was beating the shit out of him. All lives matter. Okay? I don't know any human being in this world that their life doesn't matter. And if you think one human race is higher than the other human race, you're no better than a damn fucking Nazi. And you look at us all as Untermenschen. And I have heard African Americans call whiteys subhumans. Do we need to go down that path again? Yeah, release the Epstein file. Exactly. You know, this is the best thing about the Epstein file. They released it, okay, all these princes and government officials and everywhere all over the world. This is why Trump can't release it. And I made a video about this. You realize the power vacuum it would create in all these countries when all the high-ups, the politicians are all arrested and thrown in jail? All the royalty, all the big business CEO, big business execs, like the pharmaceutical companies. Oh my God, we could actually go a couple years without tranquilizing everybody. But don't worry, if you're rich enough and powerful enough, you can commit any crime you want to. Because if the truth came out, you know, we can't handle the truth and the world would just totally crumble. What happened to this man to end up this way? Oh, it was the Marine Corps. It was a fucking Marine Corps. And having to see the world the way it really is. Why don't you go experience it once? See how sane you come out the other end when you watch it, having to live in the fucking Twilight Zone. You ever walked a mile in my shoes and shut the hell up? Because obviously your pussy ass couldn't have lasted 10 fucking seconds. Crazy? What do you think you gotta be to charge a machine gun that's shooting at you? Sane? But you're sane ass to it? My father-in-law served for 20 years in the Marines, yeah. And he's probably not a pussy. Probably just excitable as I am about what the hell's going on. You know, it kind of pounded into our heads to want to do something about injustice and when we want to protect the Constitution. So anyway, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. If you don't like people like me, then we should just get rid of the service and just become nothing but, hey, what country wants to take us over first? You know, like I say, when you're a little farm boy from Minnesota, small town farm boy from Minnesota, and you graduate high school, okay, and then where you never had minorities in your life or nothing, you go to the real world, boot camp, and then you get to see, you know, I saw 11 different countries the first year and a half I was in the Marine Corps. I think I saw the good areas. I think it was all fun and games. Thank God you guys don't have to do it. But it's coming here. Don't worry. All these guys that sit there and get on and say, hey, you're crazy, dude. You know what? I want to get on the subject. Crazy, okay? You mean like George Washington? You know, like John Adams? You want to know somebody that's crazy? Ethan Hawke. Or Ethan Allen, I'm sorry, Ethan Allen. I mean, you deal with guys that were absolutely nuts, that they took on the mightiest military in the world because they refused to deal with their shit. I wonder if they were a little upset. What do you think? But I'm great. grateful, those crazy sons of bitches, for what they did. So you have a right to get on this YouTube channel and insult me. I'm so happy that they sacrificed and I sacrificed so you can do that. What are you going to sacrifice so I can exercise my rights? Fist fight me then. Oh, that's the dude. You want to fuck with a combat Marine? What are you guys, morons? I've had lots of guys say that. Thank you for your service, bro. You're not crazy. Those ones that die with Jesus, so put the faith in him. I know. I'm also a soldier of God. Marine of God. I don't sweat these guys. See, these are the guys that get on there, they play their Call of Duty. They got, or they're big fat ass blobs that they're down in their mama's basement, and their mama's making their peanut butter with Skittles sandwiches, cutting the crust off, doing this in between watching porn channels. That's the shit to deal with. These are the people that don't think nothing's ever going to affect them. That this stuff, we're just crazy. Nothing in the world's ever going to affect them. They're going to be able to sit in front of their computer all the time and continue doing this insane shit. Okay? Trying to sit there and create havoc and discontent. And then the truth is going to come slap them in the face and be, oh my God, I better go to my safe room. You're brainwashed. Boy, you're right on it. You've been brainwashed. No shit. Really? Boy, what was your first clue that Marines are brainwashed? Does it have something to do with all the chants you do when you're running? Like I say, would a sane man charge a machine gun that's shooting at him? No. And this is the thing. You can turn a civilian into a Marine, but you can't go the other way around. A Marine never thinks like a civilian again. Or the Army, especially when you've been in the ground side. Sorry. I'm a product of my experiences. Thank God you didn't have to do it. And then I could be, if I was like you, I could sit on YouTube and insult you for the service that you did to your country. Like I said. When reality comes to slap these people, like I say, all this war, keep paying more taxes so we can go to spend on more war. Then pretty soon the whole world will just be blown up, and then we won't have to worry about it. Thank you for your service, even if you were brainwashed. Well, this is the point. This is one reason why the average civilian doesn't understand the military, especially the ground side. Normal life, and then get on the chopper and do stupid shit and come back and live a normal life. You don't sound like you served. I tell you what, you don't think that? Go to my channel and go to my posts and see if you don't think I served. Whatever. See, I got pieces of shit like that. Why doesn't it sound like I served? Because I'm not nuts enough? Oh, I'm sorry. And when I did serve, I went in at 85. That's when Ronald Reagan was in office still, and I served for 9 years. But see, I was forced out because of the force reductions because of Clinton and shit. Anyway, that's okay. That's okay. Fight me, Dad. Fight me. See what I mean? All we have is hate, discontent. I tell you what, when they bring back the gladiators at the Coliseum, I'll be glad to do it. The thing is, too, when you fight in the service when you fight, none of this pussy-ass shit even bothers you. Look at this guy and say, get the hell away from me. He could even come in, knock on my door. If he made it out this far, realize he's in the wrong spot, and he turn around and walk the fuck the other way. This is the thing. Us people out here in the sticks, us ignorant hickey, hillbilly hicks and fucking country fucks, we don't take shit from you morons. Okay? It don't matter what side of the political aisle you're on here, we're all on the same page. We don't go around insulting because we're all in the same boat. Show us your arsenal. No, I don't show guns or knives or nothing on YouTube. Why the hell would I do that? Why would I give the enemy any type of information on anything? Obviously, you weren't in the military, were you? I don't know. Maybe you were. Maybe that's the way you do it. Sun Tzu, Art of War, ever read that? Well, that was required reading for us. Yeah, we had that. We could actually read too and comprehend. Imagine that. A jarhead be able to read and comprehend. How old am I? I'm 57. I'll be 58 next month or 2 months. Yeah, not too bad for my age, huh? Still play basketball with 25-year-olds, huh? Not too bad. Must have been because I was a pussy in the Marine Corps. Or maybe it's because I pushed my body till I should have died and just kept going. You look 80. Okay, whatever. Yep, sure. Well, then I'm doing pretty good for my age because I'm 150. Ooh. Where are you from? All over. I'm from a place in Nebraska. A place where I can sit there and leave my doors unlocked, leave for my job up in northern Nebraska for 2 weeks, come home, keys in the vehicle, house unlocked, and nothing's been touched. You know, the traditional America that still exists, the shit that we won't allow, the corruption from the big cities to come up here and screw this up. We live in counties that have less than 2,000 people in it. Believe me, we ain't gonna take shit from any kind of morons that want to come in here and start crap. Like I say, none of us here care what our political affiliation is. We just ain't gonna let the Twilight Zone invade our area. Okay? Like the stuff going on in these cities, and now I hear they're gonna have a protest on July 4th. I mean, these people just can't have a barbecue or go to the lake or go to the beach. No. They got to have no Kings protest. No Kings. Are you going to protest outside your favorite King's residence at Buckingham Palace? No Kings. But when Prince Charles became Charles or anything with the royal family over there, that's all you got on the news. But don't worry, no Kings, except for King Charles, right? People are so stupid. I could sit here and make shorts all day long about liberal mindset that's just retarded. Like, remember, brown paper bags are racist, so we had to get rid of them. So we went to plastic bags, which are clogging up all our oceans now. Another liberal idea that wasn't thought through correctly. Where we're all gonna, now the fish get to suffer because of it. His watch, as many movies now, is he's all pumped up. I just want to make the world better. Do you think at my age, I was planning to sit there and have to fight a war to save my own country? Do you honestly think I thought that? But you know, when it's pushed on you and you have the ability to do it, do you think it's right for me to sit in my chair and just watch it go on? Or do you think it's our vets' responsibility to go out there and take care of this shit? We took an oath. And people might say, oh, you just put your arm up and said some words. No. We didn't realize it at the time, but that oath is an oath we took for the rest of our lives. And we're realizing that now. So when a service member gets all worked up and upset about what's going on, you know, don't tell him to calm down. Maybe listen to him. You may not understand because you haven't done everything he's done. But the thing is, we have seen this shit overseas. And now it's coming here. May you answer my question. Well, just a second. Sorry, answer it again. I wasn't watching the live stream. It's every true American's response. Yes, that's true too. It's very true. But I tell you what, when it comes to the war, see, this is the thing. You want to fight the war. The biggest military in the world right now is all us vets that have been created in this country through 35 years of war, okay? And we know how to run the equipment, the tactics and stuff. So anybody who hasn't been in the military, if you're going to join an actual military, you're going to have to go through some type of training. Because you take an untrained person to the front line, they're not only going to get themselves killed, they're going to get other people killed. Okay? Jeff, just knock it off with the fight shit. You want to go fight so bad? Go over to Ukraine. Okay? You don't stand a chance against me. End of story. I don't need to go into why. Okay, I don't sit there and tell everything on here. I don't give out what I can do, what I have, or anything like that. Let's knock it off, okay? I have to put a thing on the deal when I start my live stream. No, this is not made for children, okay? So stop being an adult child. If you want to come and be on this live stream, be an adult and get into the thing. You don't want to sit there and start getting all stupid crazy. Okay, another thing, like I say, this channel will never ask for donations or money or sell anything. When I get big enough, the advertisers get paid. But I do appreciate if you hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to get this channel to grow. So maybe people like Jeff Black will relax. But this is what we're dealing with. Hate, 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 hate. Why do you want to fight me? Because you don't even know me? You know, in the military, you have to hate your enemy. That's what all those chants are when you're doing your runs and stuff, to teach you to hate people. What type of hate process have you gone through? Have you gone through the soft boot camp that this government's putting on everybody? Is that what you're doing? Hate, 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 hate? If I knew the damn channel was about, I might follow. This channel's hid truths. You know, I want to do some more conspiracy theories and stuff like that, you know, Bigfoot, aliens, that type of shit. But, you know, when we're bombing Iran, you know, a lot of it leads to the political, okay? I do got another channel. It's called Lone Wolf Prepper Lives. And because that's off my other channel that got canceled. So it is what it is. You know, Fort Rucker. Anyway, so hidden is the dude can't even figure it out. You know, I don't remember me actually, when I decided that I want to go around and insult everybody. Can you imagine waking up in the morning, instead of deciding, hey, I'm going to go do a good deed today, I'm going to go out and try to piss somebody off. I'm going to try to sit there and minimalize somebody, get under their skin. That's what I'm going to do, like a frickin' flea. I want to act like a flea. Smell like powdered donuts, and Coach does. You talk too much. Okay, well, Jeff, you know one thing, Jeff? I appreciate you being here, because every comment that you put on helps the algorithm, helps the channel grow, helps more notifications get sent out and stuff, so keep it up. You know, we all need to get together. As Americans, we need to stop fighting each other. Your neighbor is not your enemy. The person who told you that I'm your enemy, that's your enemy. Flat out. If we don't all get on the same page and we keep letting people divide us, the government divide us into the smaller groups and smaller groups. I mean, look at the Democratic Party has been divided into so many small groups now that they're all fighting with each other, and you got a Minnesota Democrat that's shooting the hell out of other Minnesota Democrats. Division. You divide so much that no group can get along. We got all this hate going. But I tell you what, my chat's really good. Which is worse, bombing innocent people or bringing a little men in a comment? I tell you what, just don't even get me into bombings. What the U.S. has done is terrible for a lot of time. Extremely bad. And can you imagine, let's say you're a husband and you left for work in the morning and the U.S. decided to be stupid, drop a bomb on your house, and you come home and your whole family's dead. How would you feel about every American at that time? A lot of these problems that we created ourselves. You know, our founding fathers said no foreign entanglements, because they wanted people that wanted to pursue their happiness they want to, and find out what their limitations were, not be told how they had to live and stuff. They came here not for democracy, but to be free. Remember, our Revolutionary War was the first war to make men free. I like who are speaking truth now. You might remind me of Steve Halsall. What else do we got if we hide from the truth? And we want to believe these lies. I mean, if you live a life believing that, let's say, men can get pregnant, I mean, how is that going to help you out in the future? I mean, that's why you go to school, not to learn lies, you go to learn truth. So you become a better person, a productive person, and to ensure that the time we spend on this planet, we make it a better planet for the generations that are going to inherit it. But now we're starting one crazy ass war. You know, is this going to bring peace to this conflict? I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, Iran, I'm sure, still got a lot up their sleeve. I can't believe the U.S. and Israel has just totally taken out Iran like this. I mean, Israel has full air superiority in just a couple days. My question is, this was so easy. It looked like it was so easy. What took them so long to do this? Why wasn't this done years ago? That's the question. So that's why I don't think it's over all that easy. And we still got to worry about Russia. How's Russia going to respond to this? You know, Iran does have some friends. And we have pissed off a lot of people over the last many years, okay? And it's another thing with Iran. Why would they do unconditional surrender? Okay, the people that are in their government now had to deal with the Shah. You know, what the U.S. put in, which led to many people being abused by the Shah, which led to the embassy crisis in 1979. Okay, these people don't trust Americans, and there's a reason why. Because they dealt with America before. It wouldn't be the first time America created its own enemy that, we regret it. You know, kind of like Osama bin Laden. CIA, yeah, you work for us, we'll take care of you. You do our bidding. But it's amazing. These people find out what the U.S. is really like. But not the American people. The U.S. crooked-ass government. But anyway, they ain't gonna... Do you think they're gonna settle for having another, like, Shah leader put in? Or be pro-Israel? It would just completely screw up the, we don't want to sit there and bring Epstein list out because it's going to shake up everything too much. What do you think taking Iran out of the mix in the Middle East is going to do it and making it a NATO state? Anyway, and it's on Russia's southern flank. So, Russia's going to be surrounded some more another way with more nuclear missiles that are even closer to it. It's just, I wish we would have stayed out of it. The Muslims and the Jews have been fighting each other for thousands of years. Maybe this is a hard way to say it. But they have nuclear weapons now. Let them finish their fight, and maybe future generations of those people can live in peace after they see what the adults of those places did to it. I mean, the only thing if we can bring peace is by total destruction. Is that the only way to get a phoenix to rise from the ashes? For people, at least for 100 years, to understand why it's not good to go to war, okay? What's it going to be next weekend? When are the bombs finally going to start falling on our cities? Is America going to wake up then? What are the protests going to be like then in America when the bombs are flying in this country? Like I say, we ain't going to have to worry about illegals in this country anymore because they'll be heading home to across the border because they know that Central America and South America don't have to worry about nukes flying off. So that'll solve our illegal immigration problem, so we won't have to worry about those protests. I guess that's one way to solve that problem, huh? And this is just, we can't afford this. Who's paying for this? God. Roman Empire all over again. Like I say, we're biting off more than we could chew. Then we're still talking tough to China. We're still in North Korea, Ukraine. Are we going to let Russia finally take over Ukraine? Or are we going to send troops over there for that? Troops and more money and more weapons. Oh boy. And then I get people on here that want to sit there and say I'm crazy. I mean, I guess when the bombs are falling in your city, are you going to think I'm crazy then? Well, it's like, oh shit, what do I do now? I mean, we haven't seen mass panic in a city in this country. Nothing like that. I mean, even when planes fell into the Twin Towers, the mass panic that was created then would be nothing compared to mass panic if they knew a nuclear missile was coming at them. I mean, is this where it's all going to end up? Well, what's peace going to look like? Unconditional surrender for Iran. I just don't think it's going to be that easy, people. I just don't think it's going to be that easy. And, maybe Trump's gamble will work. I got a feeling he was talked into this. But, they needed our ordinance to bomb these nuclear sites. Well, I don't understand why we couldn't give them to Israel. They got everything else we got. What's the difference on non-nuclear ordnance that can do major damage to nuclear sites? Why couldn't they have dropped it? I mean, we're not over there shooting all our weapons systems that we gave Ukraine, are we? Or are we? War is the only thing in the horoscope for the whole world now. Everybody's getting all their toys out. They want to sit there and play with their toys, shoot them around, and and us citizens of all the country, we'll just be in the middle, dodging everything. It's crazy times, people. Crazy times. And then, like I say, not only that, but then the problems we have in this country. And we think we're going to fix the problems in Iran, but we can't even fix the problems in this country. We can't even. How are we supposed to enforce international law, supposedly, or whatever law they're claiming Iran's breaking on Iran, if our government won't even enforce the laws in this country? Am I lying? These illegals are allowed to protest, burn all cop signs with laser, BLM, burn, loot, and murder. But you better wear your seatbelt, buddy. You better not be speeding your car, and you better have every light bulb in your vehicle working, or they'll just pull you over to sit there and make sure they tell you. But if you're a car full of illegals, we don't care if any lights are working. Nobody has a license. You don't even need to have insurance. And if you were going 120 in a 15, keep going, buddy, because we're not going to deal with you. But they're off bombing Iran. I don't understand it. Do our politicians not hear us telling them what our major concerns is? That we don't want to go to war anymore? That we don't want to spend any money on war anymore? That we don't want to have to go to work? So the thing you can't get back is your time. And the older you get, you realize that. And you don't want to waste any of your time. You want to enjoy everything. Why should I have to work 1 minute of my life to support a war in another country? Why? Because some politician who will never send their kids or their loved ones, will never be in harm's way, says it's okay? In some military industrial complex CEO that wants to get rich? His kids are never going to go. Over $1 trillion on the budget this year for military spending this year. And I'm sure it'll probably be, after this war starts, it'll probably be $1.5 trillion that we know, we'll find out about. Now, does anybody see peace in that number? And that's just our country. That don't include all the major countries' military budgets have gone up. Heck, I think Russia's went up 50%. China, Great Britain, France. Everybody knows. Everybody sees what's coming. Just like World War I. Everybody building up their military. Everybody just can't wait to get out and use their military to pounce on somebody. Trump should not have bombed Iraq. Give me Iran. I don't know how it's going to help. I thought Israel was doing just fine by itself. But the U.S. just can't seem to avoid not getting into any good war. You know, a crisis. Never let a good crisis go to waste. Now we got to get involved in all the crises. I mean, it's hot here this weekend in this country. But it's really hot over there. And like you say, if another country was doing that, if Russia was getting the best of us, and they say, are you unconditional surrender? Do you think we'd do it without boots on the ground? You know, yes, Japan surrendered after World War II after 2 nukes. Well, they didn't know how many more we had. We had none, but, you know, or maybe we had 1 more. There's controversy about that. I've heard both. But that's understandable. That was a weapon back then nobody understood, besides the people who made it. Now everybody, it's going to get bad. But we're not going to give up. And the one thing about this country, before we get taken over, we'll hit the button anyway. You know, if we're not going to survive, the world's not going to survive. Kind of like Russia's idea. Back during the Cold War, they made a nuclear weapon supposedly big enough, like the size of a huge ship, that would destroy the whole world if they got destroyed. Anyway, I want peace. Like I said, I don't want to go to war at my age. I don't want to, I will though, for my kids and my grandkids to live, or anybody's kids or grandkids to live a free life. You know, I realize my oath now is for life, not just for the time I served. So, anyway, we'll see what's going to happen. But I don't think Trump's going to get the results he wanted after this. And I would say if he doesn't within the next 96 hours, it might do it again. Anyway, I'm sure there were some pretty big bunker busters they put down there. But we'll see. And then what about a radiation leak? I'm just curious about that. But anyway, I sure appreciate everybody being here. Like I say, if you'd hit like and hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up, I appreciate it. Help this channel grow. Because the more they try to hide what's going on and sugarcoat and would not tell the average person the truth, the average person needs to hear the truth that war is hell. And when it comes here, Americans are not ready for that. We're soft. I mean, I at least went through training before my eyes got woke up. I mean, all you people that are spoiled Americans that feel that this could never happen to America or the bad stuff because you're protected, because we live in America. No, we live in the real world now. It just seems like we spend a lot of money to piss a lot of other countries off in the world, creating wars. And the one thing about Americans, we get what we paid for. So we're spending a lot of money on war. We're probably going to get war. And the American people are going to find out what rationing is. No matter how much money, see, that's the thing about rationing. It don't matter how rich or poor you are. We're all going to get the same. Now look back at World War II and rationing. It started when the war started. So, anyway, this is what we got to look for. Craziness, craziness, craziness. Anyway, I hope everybody's prepared. At least, if you live in a big city, make sure you have a way to get out of there quick. Go over your routes. It's more for my prepping channel. But don't think that this can't happen to us. Unless you just want to throw your hands up and say, well, if it starts, I just want to be a victim. But, you know, like I always say, world leaders, the leaders of countries, bring on days of infamy. The citizens of the country are the ones that got to endure that day. Okay? Anyway, that's what we're coming to. There's lots of channels doing information on this today, and we'll see how this comes out. If Iran were to come and say, we're ready to talk peace, well, then the Trump administration was right. If it gets worse, well, Israel will be the first ones to pay. But then again, we got sleeper cells. It just, you know, when our country turns into what I've seen overseas, the average American isn't going to be too happy. And I won't be having comments on my stream where you're crazy. It'd be like, hey, I know you're crazy, but would you pick up a gun and take care of this goddamn problem? I always tell people, you think I'm nuts? You think this Marine's nuts? If your home was about to be attacked, who would you rather have in your foxhole in your front yard? Me? Or some soy boy who's afraid to even hear the truth? Okay? To do what I did, you had to be a little nuts. Okay? And you know, the one thing about the military is we control it when we get out. We have extreme control, but sometimes our mouth goes a little bit too much, huh? Anyway, the truth is the truth. I had to hear the truth in there. Had to hear the truth growing up. Nobody cared about my feelings when I had to hear the truth. So that's just the way I am. I don't see anywhere you don't get nowhere by hearing lies. How am I supposed to come up with a logical conclusion about something when I'm not hearing the facts? Okay? Anyway. But we'll see how this all goes. But like I said, I thought this would have, what was it, just 3 days ago or 2 days ago he gave the 2 weeks? So obviously he changed his mind real fast. Or that could have been a psyop to lower their defenses, thinking the U.S. was going to wait a while and give them some time. Anyway, just another war we're in. God, you know, I studied Rome. And Rome took, you know, a lot more years to decline as fast as we have. Maybe that has to do with technology, I don't know. But, I mean, just study Rome. You want to know what's coming to this country? Just study Rome. And like you say, the worst thing after Rome fell? The Dark Ages. For Europe, in the West. What was the East like? Constantinople and stuff? Bright light. Can you say that could be the same thing that happens this time? You got the BRICS nation in the East, and they're just glowing. And the West goes into a dark age. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. But don't think it can't happen again. But anyway, it could be interesting times. Living in historic times, like I say, everybody start a journal, because when you're having your grandbabies sitting on your lap, when you have grandbabies and great-grandbabies all sitting around you telling stories, you can read from your journal and say, I know this is going to be a scary story, kids, but you got to hear the truth, okay? It's historic times. Anyway, everybody stay safe. Everybody stay smart. Smile at your neighbor. Wave to them. Try to create some type of mannerisms that are positive and pleasurable, not so negative, okay? Because, like I say, when the bombs start falling in this country, all the petty little differences that we have with each other are going to completely disappear. You're not going to care what somebody's color is. You're not going to care what somebody's religion is. All the illegals will have left because they're not going to want to be in America anymore because the dollar ain't shit, and they ain't going to want to worry about being nuked or killed. I mean, like I say, we totally got to destroy the world to have peace again, because the rate we're going, crazy time. I mean, Israel's been at war now, major war now for what, 2 years, almost 3 years has it been? Has it been 2 years already or 2 years? I can't remember. War. I can't remember how long it lasts. Or was it 2 years? I think it's 2 years. And 3 years for Ukraine. Okay? And we still got South Korea, North Korea is going to happen, and China's going to take back Taiwan, and we can be able to do a damn thing about it. You got to remember, China's got a bigger navy than we do now, and it's a lot easier to defeat us when they're right next to their home ports, and we got to go across the complete ocean. Ain't ever going to happen. But anyway, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Hopefully it doesn't get too crazy out there. I mean, the one thing about it, I'll know right away. I got the missile silos 10 miles to my west. I'll see them going up. I'll know right away. But, you know, can't we all just get along? You know, go have a barbecue together. Remember that we all belong to the human race. It's probably not a good idea to try to blow each other up. But anyway, can still hope for that. You know, have they have 0 or how many days since the last accident at a business? Wouldn't it be nice to have number of days since the last person was killed due to a war or violence from a government? Wouldn't that be great to have that? Anyway, shit's about to go down, maybe. I don't see this helping things at all. But we'll see what, all you can do is react to it. Since we don't want to sit there and take control of our government, take our government back, go to a peace, instead of sticking our nose in everything and spending all our money on war, you're going to have to react to it. Okay? So, anyway, I appreciate everybody being here this evening. And I'll have a live stream tomorrow. We'll see what's going on then. But everybody have a great time till then. This is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out.